In this WrestleTalk news, Becky Lynch is shoot injured, Randy Orton comments on how much longer he'll be wrestling for, Luke's review of Raw, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos, as they did it. The mad bastards did it. Veer has broken the all-time coming record. What a day. What a glorious day.
Support WrestleTalk!
Someone who was notably absent from last night's episode of Raw was current Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, which is surprising as WWE rightfully recognizes her as one of their top stars and tries to include her in at least something every week. But this was because just hours before Raw, Becky Lynch posted a picture of herself in hospital, noting she had a fractured larynx. According to Becky in her post, this was due to Bianca Belair in the main event of a house show in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where she defended her belt against Belair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat. On top of this, a fan video from the event in question might have captured the exact moment this happened, with Bianca Belair hitting a punch and Becky Lynch grabbing her throat immediately after, though still taking a KOD first before getting checked on because she's a professional, goddammit. And because she's also such a professional, Becky then cut a raspy promo on Bianca, fractured larynx be damned. So what does this mean for the WrestleMania match between the two? PW Insider is reporting that the injury is legitimate and that Becky is currently expected to miss 2 weeks of action, which luckily means she'll be back in time for WrestleMania with a couple weeks to spare. Get well soon, Becky. Someone who did feature on Raw though and won the tag titles in the opener was Randy Orton, who once again is at the top of the tag team division alongside Riddle. Though with Orton now in his 40s, conversation has begun about how much longer Orton has left in the ring. Though I suppose we've seen a 62-year-old man dive off a balcony through tables this past weekend, so anything's possible. Orton recently appeared on Adam Glenn's Adam's Apple show, where he was asked how much longer he thinks he has left, to which he responded, "I just turned 40 a year ago. I got another decade in me, you know? We'll see." Honestly, I thought Orton was older than that. God, he was young when he started, wasn't he? For those of you who expected Vince McMahon to reveal himself as Pat McAfee's WrestleMania opponent on this past week's SmackDown, you may have been disappointed to learn it was instead Austin Theory. But don't feel too down about it, you people who wanted Vince to wrestle, you crazy people, because according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Vince McMahon is still key to that Pat McAfee match, and he's still scheduled to get more involved in that match at some point. So you still might get your 76-year-old bump like you want, you nutters. And now hot tag to Luke.
Thank you for your support on Patreon, Mad Mac the Meat Father, and the $100 Man CD Horver. Get your own Patreon shoutouts over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Raw opened this week with a recap of the biggest story in WWE right now. Brock Lesnar getting attacked by Roman Reigns at Madison Square Garden, who held up both belts ahead of their WrestleMania match. Too bad neither of them are here tonight for the show. Instead, Raw kicked off with a 3-way match for the Raw Tag Team Championships between Alpha Academy, RK Bro, and the team of, friends, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. This match ruled. The action was fast, the spots were awesome, and all 6 men connected and clicked in place like a beautiful, perfect Lego set. There was a weird moment when Otis seemingly had the match won, but pulled Riddle's shoulders off the mat, so we'll see if that plays into anything down the line. I mean, they now have lost the tag belt, so you may as well split them up, right? But aside from that, this match was sensationally good. You might even call it stupendous. The crowd went ballistic for the Orton hot tag, and when he hit the RKO on Chad Gable, who was in the middle of doing a moonsault. And after nearly half an hour of in-ring action, RK Bro stole the victory from Owens and Rollins to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. It was an awesome match, and you should all go out of your way to check it out. And here's something I don't say very often: the commentary team did a great job of putting over that this was the last chance for all of them to get on the WrestleMania card, which Rollins and Owens also sold brilliantly after the bell, both looking sad backstage, and Owens frantically putting together a plan to make sure he's part of WrestleMania. More on that later. Sadly, the rest of Raw did not live up to the incredible start. Dana Brooke quickly pinned Tamina to retain the 24/7 championship, with some more horny acting between the two of them and their other halves, Reggie and Tozawa, and we got another recap of the MSG angle. Too bad neither of them are here tonight. And in a very bizarre segment, The Miz came out to get a hometown pop, continued to love his town for hometown pops, brought out Logan Paul for some more hometown pops, brought out Jerry Lawler for even more hometown pops, then said Cleveland shouldn't have a WrestleMania and left. That was it. Was the whole segment. I don't really know what this was supposed to achieve other than to get Jerry on the show. Because when you think of Cleveland, you think of Jerry Lawler. You know, Memphis King Jerry Lawler. But then we got a big NXT main roster debut. In a rematch from last week's NXT 2.0, the Dirty Dogs lost to Tommaso Ciampa and NXT champion Bron Breakker, making his main roster debut. Bron Bruckles fared much better than the last time an NXT champion was called up to the main roster while still champion, and he pinned Dolph Ziggler to hype the triple threat tonight. Why they didn't pin Robert Roode, who isn't in the triple threat tonight, I don't know, but at least Bron Breakker looked good. Fun fact, the Dirty Dogs haven't won a tag match together since December 13th, 2021. They suck. Amos quickly beat Apollo Crews, then stared down Commander Aziz to set up a match literally no one on earth wants to see. Edge got a new heel entrance where his music stops and he's bathed in blue light, and he essentially cut the same promo on AJ Styles that he did last week. And we got another recap of MSG. Too bad neither of them are here tonight. Rhea Ripley's got herself a new Nikki ASH in the form of Liv Morgan, and they quickly beat Carmella and Queen Zelina to be added to the women's WrestleMania tag team match. Yeah, sure, why not? And Finn Balor's match with Austin Theory ended in DQ when Damian Priest attacked Balor. Theory laid out Finn after the match to put over his Mania bout with Pat McAfee, which was made out to be a much bigger deal than winning the United States Championship. But the most newsworthy thing on this show, by far, much bigger than RK Bro winning the tag titles, is that Vera's now broken Emelina's 133-day reign as the longest coming to Raw ever. Congrats, Veer. Maybe next he'll be going for Glacier's WCW debut record. Oh, and Kevin Owens called out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Specifically not for a match, which was the original report, but for a KO show segment at Mania. And despite the graphics saying it was a KO show segment, Corey Graves kept talking about how it's been 19 years for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, it's been 19 years since he had a match, but he was on TV 2 years ago and on Mania just a few years before that. So this still feels like it's going to turn into a match at some point. With that said, this was a very flat ending to Raw. Without Austin actually being there for it, Owens just made the announcement, the graphic came up, Graves babbled about 19 years, and the show ended. With no Brock, no Becky, no Roman, and frankly no Austin, this show was severely lacking in star power outside of Randy Orton in the opening match. The triple threat tag match was awesome, but the rest of the show was just a big bag of meh. This week's Raw is essentially 2 out of 5, but I want to bump it up to 3 just for that tag title match. And if you didn't catch it yesterday, Chopper, Pete, and I made a big announcement on Parts of Unknown for our brand new series playing My GM mode on WWE 2K22. Check it out. I'm gonna book the biggest stars, the biggest matches, the biggest feuds, the biggest titles. You like TLC matches? You come on over to Monday Night Raw, we'll have a TLC match every single week. Unless they cost too much and I haven't got enough money, or the game tells me not to do them. But otherwise, TLC matches every single week.